Alright, so we're cutting up, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to turn the leftover pieces of a rail into a front end piece rail. These are all right-handed sides end rails. That's basically where I got a lot of broken ones, so I just went with the right side. So at least the first piece that I cut off would already be basically designed and set up for the right side of the rail. Our magic number that we came up with in previous videos, at least at my center, may not be the same at your center, was 43.5. So we're going to go ahead and get 43.5. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this so you can see it. I'm going to put a mark here at 43.5. I do have bigger tapes. I just have this small one because I always keep it in my pocket. We'll just cut it off here. Now, you can't just cut 43, or I don't just cut 43.5 all the way down. You may try it, and you may like it, you may not. What I do with my next step is, since I know that this is my starter piece, I'm going to use this piece and align the holes that are already pre-made. I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to base where I want to cut my next one from that, which will make this be a little bit longer here at the end. But what I'm doing right now, let me go ahead and pull this piece all the way out, maybe so I can get a little closer. I'm aligning these holes right here, just to make sure that it's the same setup. Now you'll notice it's about a ½ inch longer. That may not kill me out on the lanes. It may work. There's usually plenty of room right by the end track where it drops in. So I'm still just going to align these holes so I don't have to cut out and make a lot of extra work. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to mark right at the end. So this is where my next cut is. And just so you know, for your own benefit, it is at 44 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there. So now I've got two pieces of track. Now we're going to cut the third and final one. Now you notice these holes are different because further back in the railing, it doesn't need as much play because you don't have the tip down angle of the shorter upright at the front end by the boulders lane section. But still, I am going to use my same holes. Hopefully, I got one right here. I'm going to line up this edge of this right with that hole, so it kind of gives me a starting point as well. And if you bring it down, you'll notice this one is the same way. It's right at the edge of that pre-drilled hole already. So all I'm going to have to do when I do all the work is basically do an oval cut like so to complete it, to bring it out and finish it. So now that they're lined up, I'm going to go ahead and cut the final end off after I mark it. There we go. This is our trash. So now I've got my three pieces, and now it's time to go up to the tool bench, and we're going to trim these out and make them nice and new. Alright, so now I've got my parts up here. I've got my original front end one. It's already pre-made because it's got the notch cut out as I showed you earlier, where you can use the tool to lift your rails if you do have one of those, or if you choose to do that. But now I need to I want to go ahead and make these same cutouts inside of these rails here. Sorry, I want to make this cutout. I need to transfer that basically over to here. So I can flip it around just to guess my distance, put them end to end, like so. Line up my pre-made hole. Sorry. Kind of hard to judge it from the side, but I need to go about here. Okay. And I can go ahead and transfer that mark. Go ahead and transfer that just straight to the other side. Straight down. Alright, so now I know how far to go. And I already know how deep to go because I've got the hole started. I'm just going to use my finger and make a judgment line for the top and the bottom. And then I'll just round this edge here when I cut it. When I use the Dremel tool is what we're going to use today. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the same thing on this other side. And now I have a rough reference point as to what work I need to do. We'll get it in the vise and we'll start cutting this part out. Alright, I am going to use a Dremel tool today. Basically a routing bit. And I don't have my guard on it. I don't recommend that people work that way often. I don't recommend you try it this way. This is just the way I do it. And I have an air-driven one, so this is going to be kind of loud. So I'm going to go ahead and take a pinch of tape. I'm going to put it over the microphone so you guys hopefully don't have to listen to the huge amount of noise it's going to make. Alright, saw how little time that took, so don't get in a rush, don't break your bit. If you do use a Dremel tool, I recommend setting the tool on the ground. You usually end up dropping it and breaking your bit off. But nevertheless, we're all set up and cut out. I turn the single hole into a slot. So this rail is basically set up. The only thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and work on putting my coupling in the end. That you guys have already seen that in a previous video. Should have seen it, hopefully. So now you know how to turn your other rails into a section that just is a new part that you can put at the front. So that's how you divide your thirds up and route them out, put them into place.